I think this is a great example of having people with a great sense of humor, and that's why I love this brokerage so much. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Signature Studios Spotlight Series, where we put the spotlight on agents that shine so bright.
Woo!
Hi, Susan. How are you,
Hi,
Susan?
John. How are you?
I'm doing really good, but we're having a lot of fun here because we have not just one amazing agent, we have two amazing agents.
1.5.
Wow. It's like 2.5 men, but 1.5 men?
Who's the half?
To be decided.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Andrew Lewis and Justin McCabe in the studio. And so we get a 2-for-1 deal on this one.
I know, dynamic duo.
This is pretty awesome.
Well,
Because they were actually a team. So how did this whole team thing come together?
Well, first off, you said 2-for-1. So is there compensation? We're doing?
I want to get paid more.
Okay.
I get paid free. So
We don't tell him about the compensation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
he signed the contract first, so he gets the
Partnership's
money.
over. And
So how did this whole team thing come together?
Felt bad for Justin and decided to take him under my wing. I feel like
Baby
there's going to
birdie.
be a lot of that going on. No, I got my license 7 years ago and started doing real estate and jumped into it full time about 3 years ago now. And Justin and I had worked pharmaceutical sales together, so
A drug dealer's good.
we were legal drug dealers.
Oh,
Drug
okay.
dealers,
Yeah, with the good stuff.
So no back alley deals.
Okay.
But we did find a picture of a school bus that was a
come on.
pharmacy at one time, so
Yeah, they
maybe
tried.
it wasn't so legal.
they tried. It was amazing how many people tried to pass fake pharmacies off as real pharmacies so they could get pills, but
Yeah.
didn't really work.
Really?
Yeah.
We
So
got stories.
yeah, we worked together there, and he had moved on to a different sales position, and I jumped full time into real estate, and was begging him to come over the whole time. And once he finally made the jump, we decided we would jump in together, and we both have strengths and weaknesses that work out great, and so we complement each other really well.
So that's awesome. I always admire teams like when people can work well together, because usually there's a lot of teams that kind of nosedive after a few months or transactions or whatever. But to see someone that can actually work together like you guys do, where does that come from? Is that because of the past history of just having that intuitive vibe with each other kind of thing?
I think we came into it pretty much eyes wide open that we knew each other's strengths and weaknesses, so we kind of already knew we'd work well together and what to help each other out on. But yeah, I
So
think
what are his weaknesses? No,
His
not really.
okay.
None. I might rip out of the shirt here if I.
Probably his driving skills.
Oh, we'll talk about his
Yeah.
driving skills in a moment.
This guy's face. Yeah. No, I would say probably our faith. The fact that we're both Christians, the fact that we have the same beliefs, and that we have even the definition of what healthy friendship looks like. We're not throwing dart at a board trying to make it work, but we have a clear outline of what we need to be doing as Christians, as friends, as people in the same church, because we go to the same church as well. Our families are great friends, so there's a lot at risk there too. So we walk carefully with each other, but we also try to be very generous and understanding and forgiving with one another.
That is the most in-depth answer I think we've ever gotten on this show.
But
That's
it's
incredible.
a great answer, wasn't
That's
it?
a great answer.
mean,
I
I'm
only worked
gonna
on it
use
for like
that
10,
answer.
Yeah.
10 hours.
When I get a friend,
He didn't
I'm
even
going to
have to
use
read his
that
notes.
answer.
Yeah, so John, I would say
It's all written on his palm.
Wipes
That
his
was
head.
great, though, man. I'm impressed. Wow.
but it's true, man.
Yeah.
Because we kind of knew going into it, it's like high stakes. We got our kids are friends, our wives are friends, we're friends. We've seen people that just explode, and partnerships are the most volatile and slowest form of business, so we really had to be on the same page.
It's so true, and especially in this business because, it is high stakes. It's, big paychecks and whatnot. And there's a lot of ego in real estate, too. So, how do you guys kind of balance out that whole, well, my name should be on the sign or my name should be on the contract, or, how does that kind of work out?
Well, he was better looking, so on the sign
So
it
it's
just
clearly
it made
your
easy.
choice for me to be on the sign.
Oh, Andrew's humble.
Yeah. So right now it is my face on there, but I think we've talked that we don't desire it for it to be that way.
Sure.
And so we've been told from day one going into this that pride causes partnerships and all those things to fall apart in the teams, and a lot of what we see out there right now is totally ego driven. It's got to be your sign, your face, your name, and we really don't care about that. That's kind of our approach. Is anytime there's a question about anything, whose name goes on what things look like, where money goes, those type of things, it's friends first. Like it's we default to that first and make sure that both of us are comfortable with any decision that we make on those things. So we refer to each other maybe more often than we should or than we need to, but it works out well.
That's really incredible. I'm very impressed with that because usually you see people doing the whole knockdown, drag out fight kind of thing. So good on you guys.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, that's why we have a shade on the door for those fights.
Yeah.
Do not disturb.
Yeah. Prospecting, leave us alone. That's awesome. So you guys are married men, not together.
Not together.
Not together. Thanks for clarifying.
Be clear on that.
That's great.
You were sure to tell me that before we started this episode, so we'll say it on the episode.
Yeah.
So
business partners.
Business partners only. So we'll start with you. How did you meet your wife? Because that's always a fun story.
I met my wife in high school when I was super cool and driving race cars, and she hung around me and somehow stuck around me during that whole time.
He had frosted tips.
I did have really cool bleached hair. Just
You
the
had
top, though.
bleached tips?
Yeah, just the top.
Oh my gosh,
so
how fun.
no hair envy there, John. But,
I have no choice.
Yeah, so we met in high school and dated all through high school, took some time off, and ended up back together, and just super thankful for the family. We've got 3 little ones running around now, and they're just a joy to be around.
That's awesome. And what are their ages?
6, 4, and 2. You're gonna go there, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay.
all boys, girls?
My oldest is a boy, and then two little girls.
Wow. So which one's your favorite?
We're just talking about this, actually.
I do actually tell my children, well, Daddy, why does Brooklyn get to go do that? Well, because she's my favorite.
Yeah.
So whoever gets to do that, and I get the answer, the question why, that's who's my favorite at that point.
And what about you?
So I met my wife at a wedding. So she was the maid of honor. I was the best man.
He's a wedding crasher.
So she was already laying out that expectation.
that's
Yeah, we already
awesome.
walked the aisle together. I always said it was a done deal. We don't need to do this again, but I totally understand we needed to. So, yeah, I met her at my best friend and now sister-in-law's wedding right before that, and we hit it off pretty well. So, obviously.
So did you swoop up on her kind of thing? Like,
I
what was
did.
your pickup line?
Absolutely, yeah. I knew I was in when we both forgot that we were supposed to do our best man and maid of honor speeches, like totally forgot to do them. And luckily I'm in sales, so I could think of something on the fly, and she grabbed my hand and was like squeezing it like, oh no, we forgot to do this. And I was like, she's grabbed my hand. We're in. We got this. Awesome.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yep, absolutely. And our kids are also 6, 4, and 2, and I have my oldest is a boy, and then I have my middle is a daughter, and then my youngest is a boy. So.
Oh, so that's cool. So you got the daughter sandwich thing going on. That's
Yep.
good.
Feeding them lots of meat, getting them all big so they can protect her. No one talks to her during her teenage years.
So did you grow up in this Marietta area, or are you?
I'm from Corona, so grew up in Corona.
Okay.
And then lived in Costa Mesa for a couple years. I finished up school after we got married, and then we decided we didn't have $1 million for a starter home, and he was recruiting. He's always recruiting, actually. Like,
It's been a long plan to get to this
come
point.
come to my job and be a professional drug salesman. Come to Marietta. It's great. Living's easy.
Jump in real estate. It's
Come
great,
to real
they
estate.
said.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm a follower 100% apparently.
That's awesome. And then, have you always grown up in this area?
No, I was born here and actually grew up in Dallas, Texas. So spent my elementary to junior high years in Texas, and then came back out here, moved to Corona, went to high school there, and then after we got married, my wife and I made the move out here.
So a few moments ago, you were talking about that you were a race car driver, and that's no joke, ladies and gentlemen. He actually legitimately is a race car driver. So you drove NASCAR, is that right?
Yeah, I grew up racing cars and worked my way up, and actually really thought that's what I was doing with my life up until 18 years old. So I was having meetings with all the top NASCAR teams. It was a division of NASCAR that raced on the West Coast, so all the big tracks: California Speedway, Las Vegas, Phoenix. Was in that scene and around that, and sponsorship fell through. And once there's no more money on the table, nobody really cares how good you are at what you do. So.
Dries up fast.
Yeah, learned some life lessons early at 18 years old there, and decided at that point to shift my life over to making money rather than spending money. So now I have a Honda Accord and a Honda Odyssey, and we just race those all over town to get to baseball practices and showings. And
You're always there first,
yeah,
huh?
I am always there first.
I
Yeah.
just want to point out I've driven a go-kart before. So thanks for not bringing that up.
And mulligans. Factory mulligans.
Yes,
Race car.
but-
It was the two-seater. I drove, and he was the passenger.
Yeah, but
not driving,
Yeah,
Justin.
I know.
Okay, but do you really drive fast now in real life?
He doesn't.
No, I don't. I got plenty of tickets in my early years, and I'm over that. So I like my insurance. I'm total dad now. Like, just insurance as cheap as it can be. Let's drive the speed limit. But competitiveness is there. Competitiveness is there. I always do get yelled at because I make situations much closer than they need to be on the road. When somebody messes up, I'm clear to show them their mistakes, and my wife is always yelling at me.
Tell them your favorite idea of what you would do if you won the lottery. Do you remember telling this story?
No, what would I do? Oh, I would just build a car that I would just run into people when they pull in front of me.
Or more aptly, he said, I would love for someone who tries to get in and I just don't move and they hit me and we pull over and I go, wow, that was dumb of you, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And then just write them a check for the damage on their car and have a nice day. Yeah. So.
Almost like a roller derby, not roller derby.
Yeah, bumper cars.
Bumper cars,
Yeah.
yeah. In real life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
No,
awesome.
what's that called?
Demolition
Demo
derby.
derby.
Demolition
Derby,
derby,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to do it yesterday, so I understand, yeah.
You can go to
I had to
Paris.
call somebody and say, I feel like bumping into cars right now.
Yeah, Paris has got that speedway and they'll do that. They'll do those like
Your Mercedes would look great out there.
Yeah, we'll spray paint it.
What's the fastest you've driven?
On
On a track?
About 200.
That's crazy.
What's that like?
It's actually feels much slower than.
Really? Does the brain almost do like a weird effect on it?
Yeah, well, on that you're on much bigger tracks and everything's wider and it feels slower. You're in much more control at that speed, oddly enough.
No blood flow to your head at that point. So.
Yeah, but it's the smaller short tracks that you're accelerating a lot faster that you feel like you're flying. So yeah, 200 felt like nothing.
That's
so
crazy.
It just slows down.
Did you ever crash? Did you ever get hurt?
Did I ever get hurt? Yeah, there's plenty of crashes. Can we roll the footage of the crashes? Do you have that on?
Billy T, can you bring up the B-roll, please?
Please. So,
I would think
if
I was your mom, I would have been horrified.
Oh yeah, my mom went through about a bottle of wine every race. So,
Yeah.
pacing behind the stands. So
Yes.
I'm sure you've been there.
Yeah, I pace behind stuff. I just don't drink the wine.
Yeah.
It's vodka.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Whatever it takes to get through there.
So speaking of Susan as our fearless leader and such, how did you guys come to Signature Real Estate?
I followed Andrew.
That's a good answer.
Common thread here.
How did you?
I'll just leave now and you just
The guy goes 200 miles an hour. Everybody's following him.
Yeah.
How
so
did you come to Signature Real Estate?
So I started my career with a different brokerage, and that's when I was kind of doing things part-time, getting the feel for what I was doing. And when I decided to make the jump into full-time, I spent some time asking around, like, who's the best? I need the best brokerage. I need to find where I need to be. And Susan's name was the resounding answer. So gave her a call, said, hey, it's your new favorite agent, and I'm coming to work for you.
That's so cool.
He made 2 phone calls.
She said no, he had to beg. It was a little bit more than that. But.
And what's your experience been like for both of you guys here? Obviously, you're doing well.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
We love it. We love that you can walk up and talk to any other agent about what they're doing, and for the most part, they're open. And I don't have experience at other brokerages, nor do I want it. So, but I've pretty much heard from resounding everybody that you can't do that. You walk up to someone there and ask what's making them so successful, and you'll get the death glare. So, in general, I'm sure
It
there's
seems
exceptions.
to be a common theme on this show is that this brokerage really does have that collaboration type model, right? It seems like everybody is totally fine sharing their secrets and all that kind of stuff. And I think you really established that. And I think that's why a lot of people are thriving over here at Signature Real Estate Group is that on Los Alamos. You really set that precedent. You laid down the marker of this is how we're going to structure this brokerage, and it's working, obviously.
The rule is play nice in the sandbox.
Yeah.
You know, everybody who comes in, if you play nice in the sandbox, then we can do that together. And if you don't, then you should go outside and play.
Yeah. Well, I think it's where, like, when you call it the brokerage of collaboration, it's like you kind of have to maybe not read that to come and not know what you're getting. You know, it's like that's up front, like this is what it is. This is what to expect.
Well, and that really comes from an abundance mindset. I feel like the agents here have that mindset of there's plenty of business to go around. We don't need to fight over 1 or 2 deals here and there. And I feel like those other offices, it is a scarcity mindset. It's this is my deal. You're not touching it. Don't drive in my farm with your car magnets on. Like we're gonna throw blows over that.
Well, let's talk car magnets for a second, because that should stay in the 90s.
No.
But
I guess I'll
sorry, John.
I guess I'll
sorry, you gotta
cancel
take
the
them
order.
off.
I guess I'll
It's
cancel
a red
the
tie
order.
on the back.
It's a red. So,
Yeah.
yeah. When you know there's enough to go around, then that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine if you get a listing in my neighborhood. I'm fine with that. Let's
Yeah.
share it.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, like on that note, there's always that false idea of like me and John, and I gotta be adversarial with John because it's him and me. You're like, no, it's you and 4,100 other part-time agents. Like that's who you're fighting against. We're not gonna see each other in listing at presentations. We're gonna see random cousin who has a license. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we're not against each other. We're not gonna see each other. And even if we do, go for it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, actually, I think we had recently over in Rancho Bella Vista. You guys had a listing, and then I had a listing, and see, I like it when I see our fellow tribe having a listing there because it's like,
Right.
oh, hey, do you got any spillover buyers or vice versa kind of stuff. So it's cool to see you guys, and especially because you're way better looking than this guys.
Yeah. You don't want to see me on the sign. Yeah, keep driving. I don't like the curb appeal on this one.
Hey, it started off with your face on it, and then like no sign calls, and you put his face on it, and then you got a lot of sign
Boom.
calls.
Yeah.
Business exploded.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
why my name's on it right now.
Yeah.
That's great.
Pretty
So-
much it. So no curb appeal.
Hey, marketing's everything, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Beauty
man.
brains. It's
That's-
fine.
Now we just need to hire a better looking woman to put on our signs
Wow,
and,
great.
and let her
There we
be
go.
the face of
This
it.
is
so.
getting edited. So
Oh man. So what do you guys see happening for your team and your career over the next 12 months to a couple years? What's going on?
Well, that changes every day.
no.
Not at all.
Right now, I think we're just totally focused on. Obviously, we've been super blessed with the amount of business we currently have and keeping that going and helping them be satisfied with what we're doing with our current customers and getting more, of course. At the same time, we love the two of us dynamic. Having other people like assistants in there, maybe a thing too, but we don't really see currently expanding a team. It's closed for business right now. It's just us right now.
You guys are the super duo. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
we'll
it's
take it.
I think it's identify the amount of business that you can handle and run with that. Why do we need to continue to bring on people just to add more to that and add more stress for the same amount?
Yeah.
And that's where I think sometimes the ego does get in the way there of, well, I want to be the biggest, and to do that you do need to grow a team.
Yeah.
To have your name and your face everywhere, but we're okay not getting to that point and being blessed with what comes our way. And we work hard for those things, but we don't need to do 500 deals a year.
Yeah.
Although I'd like to.
So,
just with
do
us
you know
two and
anybody
our,
looking to buy or sell?
yeah, just with us two and our 26 assistants, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Seriously, and you hit a nerve, not a nerve, but in this business, it's definitely chasing numbers, right? So it's like, well, I did 20 deals last year. Okay, well now I want to do 50. Now I want to do 100. Now I need 200. And what happens is you see these teams start to get so big, and then at some point it becomes not as effective, and then you're just stressed all the time because you're trying to manage not only your own transactions but then all the other team members and all that and all their emotions and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, to each their own kind of thing, but I think the fact that you guys know exactly who you guys are as a team and what your level of comfort of success is, and you guys are rocking it out. I mean, the level of production you guys do, like there's bigger teams that don't even do half that kind of thing. So you guys are kicking butt.
Thanks.
It's awesome.
But taking names.
And they have integrity.
You can
And
tell.
So, yeah, you always know that when they're going to represent somebody, they're going to protect their interest. And I appreciate that. I feel safe with everything that they're doing. The mama bear thing. And anybody who's on the great big teams, I trust them too. I
Right.
mean, that has all been delegated responsibility. But what I love about these guys is that, number one, it is the dynamic duo. They have each other's backs. They have the same story. And I think that once you get to that threshold of this is what success means and my family is my priority, that's a great defining for yourself to have peace and joy and a great life.
Yeah.
Because is there really balance? I don't know. I have an all elusive balance in my life. But it's nice to see you guys do this together.
Yeah.
And you're so different.
Yeah.
You're just so different.
Yep.
You guys are hysterical though.
You
Thanks.
are funny
We try.
people.
As long as we don't, we still are. It's kind of weird, but yeah.
Just have this like natural intuitive timing amongst yourselves.
Yeah, we're like old men. That's really like grumpy old men.
Grumpy old men. Yeah, we joke that we actually spend more time with each other than our wives.
And
So
it's
maybe
true,
that's
actually.
that's
So.
it is true.
The secret's to a good marriage.
Well, we carpooled for years together. We spent starting off in the sales cubicles together, like
Separate cubicles.
Well, of course, didn't feel like it because they were so small. They were like right there. To just like leaving the house at 7 a.m., going home at 6 or 8 at night together, that kind of a thing. we definitely learn all the pros and cons of each other for sure pretty fast.
I want to know who the decorator designer is, because you guys have one of the coolest offices in the office.
He says that, but we brought all the stuff from our home offices, so it's kind of a collaboration.
I brought my desk and a computer, and Justin
some
brought
wall
a
stuff
chair and
Like the
multiple
footstool,
chairs, rugs.
the little
He's-
whiskey table.
I
whatever
brought
that
the
is.
whiskey. That's fully mine. So he drank most of it.
seems to go down pretty quickly. I think people are sneaking drinks at the office.
That's actually more, because we both are like, I haven't touched that thing for like 3 months.
Does it
Review
evaporate?
the cameras.
Yeah.
That's why the door's left open.
John's like, no, don't look at the cameras. Just John walking out of our office.
I use it as an example all the time. This is what to do.
The whiskey.
Yeah, no.
Talk about integrity.
Welcome to real estate, kids.
Oh, but it is fun. I always know that when they're going to problem solve, there's going to be a solution.
Yeah.
And that's always nice. That's peaceful as a broker to know that they got my back, I got theirs too.
That's why she's going to list her house with us.
Well, so
I
speaking
was
of
looking for a
listings,
house. I need a buyer's agent.
when there is somebody that wants to sell their house, why do they want to choose you guys? Blank stares. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one.
It's,
Well, when it's a partnership, you figure out who's going to speak first. So you look and defer, and then you go,
Yeah.
okay, I'll go. His eyes aren't lighting up with
We're
anything.
working on that. Like, eyes spinning in the back of my head. Like, I don't know.
I think one of the biggest things is Susan talked about integrity. So I would say integrity would be the largest aspect of it. What we say is what we do. And I think that's the defining aspect. You have agents that have printed off online from whatever coaching, 30 different marketing things that they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
They do about 10 of them, maybe. Whatever the seller can see, that's what they do, or whatever they're reminded of by the seller of, that's what they do. And they don't communicate when things are either done or not done. We hear that all the time with listings that unsuccessfully sold, right? They didn't do what they said they were going to do, and they didn't communicate with me. I felt like I was always in the dark. And so I think those two things are probably something we're pretty passionate about. If it's on my checklist, I'm going to do it. You don't have to remind me, but I will tell you when it's done. And we'll give you, weekly updates or updates as they're needed. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably the biggest thing that sets us apart, personally.
Yeah, definitely on the communication piece. That's like Justin said. That's what we hear the most. Is I wasn't communicated with. I didn't know what was going on, and so we've built out just this follow-up process with our clients to keep them updated on their listing, keep them updated with the escrow process. We're constantly explaining those things, so they feel cared for throughout the process. I think when you get to a certain level of volume, it can be really easy to get something into escrow, and then just it can take care of itself, but your buyer, your seller could be left in the dark as to what's going on, and their experience is terrible. So we see the lifetime value in clients, and so we want to build those relationships. And we're not just here for that one paycheck, and that's what we tell people all the time is we're not here for the paycheck. We're here to make you a part of our family, and to bring you to client events, to have fun with you, to make a lifelong relationship, so that we're the obvious choice when it goes to when they call. I mean, Justin just had somebody call and orders changed and they need to get out of here, and we're going to do what it takes to help them in that situation.
Yeah.
Whereas I think some would say, sorry, there's not enough room there to do something for you.
Exactly. And I think that's one of our other things we say is I don't want to be your agent for 2 months. I want to be your agent for the next 20 years. So.
Well, and that's where the real value in this business is in the relationship and not the transaction. But unfortunately, I think a lot of agents were trained to just chase that number, right? Chase the transaction. And, you hear these agents, and if somebody's not going to buy in the next 30, 60 days, then you're dead to me. Be gone. I don't need you kind of thing. It's like, good Lord, that's brutal.
Still a human.
Educate, walk them through it. Yeah.
Like some of my best clients never bought a house, but they've referred me 20 people because I took the time to help them get into that $100 rental or whatnot. Although people, please don't call me for $100 rentals. But I'm saying, if I really like you, then
John Butler will take your $100 rentals. Referrals, please. And the top leasing agent
why I do the
award
show
goes
for free.
to
Bulgara tie.
Pirates Tie. Hey, you are first place. All right.
yay, I win.
Top 10. So.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome because it really is a relationship-based business. And I think it starts with your guys' friendship and relationship and then just trickles down. So that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Well, any final thoughts you'd like to throw out there to the community here?
Final thoughts.
Not like finality.
Yeah.
Just for right
Like your
now.
eulogy. You got anything you want?
Just in the wind.
I had a good life,
I want to thank everybody for coming today.
I conquered,
but I'm out.
and I'm out.
And I'm drinking whiskey.
And-
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think just taking our clients and seeing their goals and hitting their goals is what we love to do and what we love to see, and clients first and everything else will win after that.
Very cool. And any words for someone that might be not at Signature Real Estate Group and they're like, oh my gosh, I really wish there was a brokerage on Los Alamos. Any words to them that you might want to share with them that are stuck in a brokerage that maybe feels like an abusive relationship?
Abusive relationship. I stay because I'm comfortable. I have to pay for new signs. Oh my goodness. You know what? That's
Wasn't her, it's
but my
me.
split is 30%.
Yeah.
You shouldn't worry about your signs.
Yeah. So I mean, it's Susan's amazing, and that's so we talk about integrity and relationships, and Susan is that as well. We align ourselves with vendors that are the same, and speak the same language, act the same way, that would treat our clients the same way, and so we know that when we're here with Susan, we have that. So we know when there's an issue and it does need to come to Susan. Justin's the most recent one bringing one to Susan, but he is the problem child.
We'll take care of it.
But we know that it'll be handled the right way when it goes to Susan. So that's why we're here. It's great. It's a flat fee brokerage. That's awesome. But I think most importantly for us, it's who Susan is. It's the culture that she creates. It's the other agents here within the office where we've learned and we've grown a ton, and we owe it to Susan and Signature Real Estate.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to pay you later for that.
Susan, final thoughts?
The truth is that I feel like I built this building, and then all these people came in, and you guys created something. So first of all, I think you guys get to have and own that piece of what's going on here. The second part is I have to personally thank you, because when it comes to character, integrity, my faith, you are two that I can depend on, that always elevate me and lift me to the higher standard that I always want to live by. And I'm not afraid or unapproachable for either of you to hold me accountable. You actually have on occasion, and I actually appreciate that, because I think we're in this world together, this journey together, to have better lives, to help one another, and that makes a huge difference for me. So my thank you is that you two do that for me, because without you, who knows where I would be? Because we know I have a terrible sense of humor, and so it keeps me on track, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on your success. You really are a dynamic duo. You complement each other. You've done a great job. I believe in you wholeheartedly, and it's really fun to watch your careers.
Thanks. We'll pay you later.
Okay.
That just cancels. We're even.
We're free.
No money exchanged hands. This was all voluntarily.
So that's a glass promoted.
One of my favorite things about you is the haircuts and the part.
Can we get a close up of that?
I just want you to know the parts.
we're-
I really like the part thing. I try to get my kids to do it. They won't do it. No. I'm like, follow this.
We're
This
a
is
brokerage
good
of
stuff.
diverse hairstyles
We
here.
really are.
We've got no
And
hair.
diversity.
We've got
I mean-
and diversity.
We've
We've
got
got parts. We've got
ponytails.
ponytails. We
We
have
do.
the gamut. We need a mullet.
We need a
though.
mullet.
We do need a
I think
mullet.
Nash
Nash
should
would
probably
be a
be
good
a good mullet.
Oh, we gotta get
Have
Nash
Nash
to do a
bust out the
mullet.
mullet.
He'd
Yeah.
look good in a mullet.
He would. He would rock it.
You
I
know?
think he really would.
I think so. I think, you know what? I think Chris McCullough could pull off a mullet too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I've got
Yeah.
a mullet, and if you think differently, I'll
Nobody's
kill
gonna
you.
mess with Chris.
I might kill you.
Yeah.
I think I could see that pitch, that they, what makes you different? Why should we list our house with you? Well, I'm all business in the front, but if you in the back, we're gonna have a good time selling this house.
It's a party.
And ladies and gentlemen, it is a party over here at Signature Real Estate Group. And Justin McCabe, Andrew Lewis, Susan Ebert, John Butler, Ball Guy, and Red Tie are having a great time over here at Signature Real Estate Group on Los Alamos. And thank you so much, guys, for being on the show. You guys really are a great example of friends that have become successes in this business. And you guys are doing all the right stuff. So I can't wait to see what your career is going to continually do. I think you guys are right on track and doing everything right. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Good stuff.
Woo-hoo.
And that concludes this episode of the Signature Spotlight Series with Susan Ebert, John Butler, Andrew Lewis, Justin McCabe saying see you in escrow. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.